Good evening, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. This is Matt with another edition of the Lowdown with Matt. And tonight, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome Johno, who is the bass player for Atlanta-based metalcore band First One Dies. How you doing tonight, Johno?
What's up, man? Doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I've been looking forward to this. This one came together kind of quick,
Yeah.
but we've been able to make this happen, and I'm definitely excited to have you here with me. So we'll just go ahead and get right into it. Um, First question I've got for you is, how long have you been playing bass?
So I've been playing bass probably consecutively about 7 years. I've always messed with
Mhm.
it back when I started playing guitar, probably about 12 years ago. Um, yeah.
Okay. Um,
Hmm.
have you ever taken lessons, or are you pretty much self-taught? How did that go?
No, I think I took lessons for maybe a month when I very first started guitar, but it just didn't
Mhm.
really click with me, man. I'm just pretty much fully self-taught.
Okay. Um, do you play any other, well, besides guitar and bass, do you play any other instruments?
Yeah, yeah. I play guitar and I play bass, obviously, and I play drums. I can play a little bit keyboard, not too much. Can play ukulele, and I think
Oh,
that's about it.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as far as bass goes, do you have a preference between fingerstyle or pick? I'm sure with a lot of the stuff that you play with First One Dies, I'm sure you're using pick a lot because of the aggressive style.
Yeah, man. Yeah. As far as preference, I would definitely say picking, especially coming from guitar. It's just more comfortable for me. Um,
Absolutely.
but
I'm.
at the same time, when I play metal specifically, I kind of do like a
Mhm.
hybrid picking. I'll pick some, and I'll also do some finger at the same time. It kind of gives my hand a little break sometimes, and it's just fun.
Gotcha. So tell me about your current gear and your live setup. You know, what do you usually play? What do you play through? Any effects? That kind of thing.
So I usually am running my Yamaha. I wish I could tell you the model number. I'm not really a nerd when it comes to all the specifics, but Yamaha is one of my favorite brands. So I have a Yamaha 5 string, and I usually run direct in through one of my pedals. It's my secret weapon
Hmm.
called the Alpha Omega. It's a pretty
Nice.
awesome distortion pedal. It goes direct in through the PA speakers in the venue. And really, other than that, I'd just go to a suppressor to negate any noise that I don't want, and a tuner. And that's really it. I like to keep it simple.
That makes sense. You know, sometimes simplicity is really the way to go. If you get too bogged down in the details, you know, you can sometimes end up with a product that's not quite as good.
Right, right.
So. So, do you have a preference yourself between four string and five string basses?
I think I would say 5 string for sure. Um,
Hmm.
I, I'll play any of them, obviously, but I play 6 string in some of our songs that are of lower tuning. I think
Hmm.
all those strings kind of get in the way, especially when you're getting real technical with it. But I think five is a
Right,
nice happy medium. It just you got some extra range, and you can go lower tunings, and you can just do more with
right,
it. And I can also play in standard tuning in the drop tuning that we play in, which is drop A. So I can go back and forth to metal, rock and roll, whatever I want to play. It's easy.
right, right. Yeah, I like. I've got an Ibanez five string that I just absolutely adore. I just love the way she plays, and you know, that's my. I've got that. I've got a Dean four string, and I've got a Fender four string acoustic.
Okay.
bass. So those are my three, but I'm very partial to my 5-string Ibanez.
Okay. Cool.
Um, so musicians do tend somewhat, at least, to collect gear. Do you have anything unique or unusual in your gear arsenal?
I would just say my two favorites is my 6-string LTD. I love
Hmm.
that thing, man. It is a beauty. It's heavy as crap. It hurts your shoulder, but it's so worth it, man. Heavy tone comes along with the heaviness of it. So, and
Gotcha.
my Alpha Omega pedal, distortion pedal. I love that thing. It gives me a great tone.
Yeah, your secret weapon.
Yes, my secret weapon.
Yeah. So, what are some of your musical influences?
Well, first and foremost, man, I'm a huge Deadhead. Grateful Dead all the way, dude. Uh,
Hmm.
it's just it's a beautiful thing. I think it's more than just music. It's a family. But as far as metal goes, I'm a deathcore fan, 100%.
Hmm.
I started with Suicide Silence back in the day with Mitch Lucker, and you know, nowadays I listen to like Body Snatcher, uh, Spite. I really like Spite. Um, and yeah, and a lot of local bands because I like to spread a lot of support to locals too. So
Absolutely. So, who would be some of your favorite bassists?
some of my favorite bassists, Les Claypool for sure. That man, I
Primus.
mean,
Yeah.
is incredible. Yeah, and probably Phil Lesh, which is bassist of the Grateful Dead. Very
Hmm.
talented dude. Um, yeah, those would probably be my top two for sure.
Okay. Um, what was the very first concert you ever went to?
Very first concert was I think it was Warped Tour 2016. I want to say. There was like 50 bands on one bill, 50 bands, $50 ticket at the amphitheater. It was incredible, man, especially at 16 years old, which is how old I was.
Oh yeah, and that's really a bargain. $50 for 50 bands. I mean, you really
Um,
can't beat that.
you can't find it nowadays anymore
Um,
either.
no, it's unfortunate that the music industry has gotten to where they make it so unaffordable to go to a lot of shows anymore.
Right,
But
right.
it is what it is. So, in the course of your musical career so far, have you had an opportunity to meet any of your musical heroes?
Um, no, unfortunately, I haven't, man. I don't think I've ever met a celebrity in general in my life. I have got to meet a lot of cool people. I've met the drummer for Bad Omens. I wish I could tell you his name. I don't know his name, but he was a really cool guy. We hung out at the Masquerade when we opened for them one time. Um, but I think that's probably my only experience. I would say anywhere near that.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, away from music, what are some of your hobbies and interests?
Um, well, music is definitely a big thing. That takes up a majority of my time, but I like skating, skateboarding. It's I've
Hmm.
been doing that since I was a kid. Play video games, and yeah, just connecting with my friends. That's really it. And cooking, I can't forget
Okay.
cooking. Also, I love to cook.
What do you like to cook?
Man, anything, dude. I I like to cook some dang pork chops, man. Like Southern cooking, you know what I'm saying? Fried chicken,
Hmm.
barbecue, anything barbecue. Big old fat juicy steak.
Hmm.
Yeah, good old Southern
You're
cooking.
making me you're making me hungry.
I know. I'm eating dinner right after we get done with this. I feel you, bro.
So, so now tell me about First One Dies. How long have you guys been together? How did the band form, and where did the name come from?
Okay. So First One Dive started originally in about 2015. It was by our lead guitarist Ray Hunter, like super talented dude. I met him, and first thing he did was hand me a First One Dies sticker. And I think later on he found some members. I think it was, I want to say 2019. I could be wrong. And then I joined the band probably about 2020, and here we are today. And it's really grown into something cool, especially seeing it when it was just a solo project while Ray was doing everything. It's really cool to see it grow.
Mm-hmm. So where did the name come from?
The name, man. I wish I had some more context for you, but Ray Hunter, he made the band name back in 2015, obviously, like I said, and every time I try and get something out of him, he's like, "It's just First One Dies, man." So really, that's all I can give you. I can't elaborate more. We're just First One Dies.
So, Johno, do you play in any other bands or side projects aside from First One Dies?
I do. I don't have a name for you. I don't have much information for you. It's very um, at an infant stage right now, but it's doing some
Mm-hmm.
psychedelic rock, which is, it's metal and psychedelic rock. Yeah, those are my two main genres that I like to focus on and listen to. So yeah, man, I got some
Nice,
psychedelic rock.
nice. So something a little different.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
So, bass players typically are in a partnership with the drummer as the rhythm section of a band. Tell me about your relationship with the drummer in First One Dies, and how does that go?
Well, first of all, I hate you, Tanner. No, I'm just kidding. Tanner is awesome. Me and Tanner get along very well. It definitely, with the double bass and the intensity that metal brings as far as those low tones go, we definitely go hand in hand
Mm-hmm.
when we go live. And one thing I noticed that's pretty cool, especially with me playing psychedelic rock, which is, a lot of that is improvised stuff. So I noticed that Tanner likes to improvise during shows, and meaning like he does different fills between different things. Generally the same structure, just kind of switching it up every now and then. And I like to do the same thing as well. I'm always experimenting with new ways to play what I've already written. So we definitely go hand in hand in that way.
It's good to have somebody like that you can kind of play off of, and have a little bit of variety within parameters, so that you don't get completely bored
Right. Most
playing
definitely.
the same old thing every night. Um, so tell me about the songwriting process within First One Dies. Is there a primary songwriter, or is it a collaborative thing? How does that go?
It's definitely a collaborative thing. Um, we all kind of sit and come up with riffs, especially Brandon, our vocalist. Man, he is always a
Mm-hmm.
wizard in the studio, always sending stuff in the chat. He's definitely a big influence to all of us as far as writing goes. He's a very skilled and talented writer. But yeah, all in all, it's definitely a collaborative effort.
Okay. So is First One Dies anything approaching a full-time thing? If not, tell us a little bit about your day job.
Um, no, we're not full time, unfortunately. Yeah, we're definitely, I couldn't say far or near. It doesn't really matter to me personally, but my day job is I'm a lawn care technician. I just spray chemicals on lawns to get rid of the weeds and make them look all nice and uniform, I guess.
That's cool. That's cool.
It pays the bill.
So, oh yeah, you got to have something to pay the bills.
Oh yeah.
So, if you can narrow it down to one or two things, what would be the most interesting experiences you've had playing live?
Playing live. Um, Couple of things would probably definitely be feeling the connection amongst the people that I'm playing with. It really is like a different way of communicating. I've felt like I've had conversations, if you will, without saying a single word, just by playing a song together. Um,
Yeah.
and another thing, I guess, would be it's being experimental. Not being afraid to get outside the box and try things new, like I was saying earlier.
So, what is your favorite First One Dies song to play live?
My favorite song to play live. So we have a new album coming out. It's called Kingslayer, and we just ditched all the old songs that we were playing live, and we're now playing all new songs from the new album. I would
Oh,
probably
that's
say,
cool.
I'd probably say Sea of Dread is my number one favorite, which you guys will hear very soon. I'm very excited to share it with you.
Sea of Dread. I like the title.
Yes, yes.
Um, so, do you have any pre-show rituals or traditions that you like to do? Like some athletes will unlace their shoes and or such before a game. Is there anything that you do every time or most times before you go live?
Man, I wish I could say something more meaningful, but we just took it down, dude. We like to, you know, and connect with each other, really, be there on time together, and really establishing a connection before we even get on the stage. It's definitely an important part of it.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, do you have any funny or interesting stories from the road that you'd like to share?
Some interesting stories from the road. Uh, so my first time meeting our lead guitarist Ray, back when the First One Dies was just a solo project of his, we actually were playing in a band called The Wicked Within, and it was our first
Hmm.
time meeting and also our first time playing together at a show that none of us had rehearsed for at all. So we went up on that stage and played a completely improvised set, and it went very well. To our surprise, because it was a old venue called Swayze's, so that Swayze's was kind of a low end venue, but it was still cool. So it wasn't really a high pressure kind of thing. So we just went up there and we're like, let's just have fun with it, man. And did an improvised set, and it went amazing. It was a lot of fun.
That is awesome. That's so, Johno. What is your hometown?
My hometown is I was born in Rockdale County, Conyers, Georgia, um, and I grew up in Walnut Grove, Georgia. When I went to high school here in Walnut Grove, Georgia. It's kind of right outside of Loganville.
Hmm. Um, what would you say would be your favorite thing about Walnut Grove?
My favorite thing about Walnut Grove, man, that's a great question. Uh, I'd probably say just the landscape. Um, it's away from the city. There's a lot of farmland out here. Um, I think that if I were to ever move away from here, that's something I would definitely miss is the landscape out
Hmm. So, what would you say is your favorite thing about the Atlanta music scene?
here. I would say just the community in general. Most of my experience has been in the metal local community or local scene, and I've probably been in it since I was about 17 years old, and since then I've been seeing the same faces, um, and it really feels like a family. It's really cool, and it's constantly growing and changing and working together, and I really like to see that. I think it's really cool.
Absolutely. Like I was saying to you before we went live, that was actually how I found out about you guys. Because this past Saturday night, I was up at Moe's Records in Gainesville, seeing Great Wide Nothing live, and they had Death Blender and Vane playing with them. And through having seen those bands, I found out about the show you guys have coming up at the Masquerade, and you're going to be playing with Death Blender and a couple of other bands. And
Yeah.
so, through that community and just the interconnectedness of it all, I was able to, reach out to you guys, and thankfully you responded very quickly and were very gracious, and thank you for doing that and for coming on here with me. It's but yeah, it's a really cool community. I've just barely scratched the surface of it, but there's just so much talent, and I'm excited to get more and more exposed to it.
Absolutely, man. And I definitely think everyone, there needs to be more people like you using their platform to spread awareness to the local scene. Because even if you got 10 followers, or you got 10,000 followers, no voice is too small to reach out and spread this stuff.
So now here is a question that I've asked in all of these, and I always get really interesting answers. So I'm looking forward to asking this to you, and that is, if you could give, knowing what you know now, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
When I think of that question, the first thing that comes to my mind is all the times where I had a band or something going on and it failed or didn't work out, or maybe we broke up. I think about the how low I felt in those moments, and how all my efforts always felt like, I just spent all that time for nothing. If I could say something to my younger self, I would say, just get up and try harder. There's a lot to learn, and you got to be very resilient to be a musician. I feel like, because you're gonna fall on your face a lot, and you got another thing coming if you think you're not, because nobody is, and no matter how talented you are, in order to be seen and really make it in this industry, you gotta hustle.
Absolutely. And, Jono, it's been my experience that you learn more from failure than you do from success. So,
Absolutely.
what I'm going to do is take a break real quick, and I'm going to switch over quickly to the Instagram tab and see if anybody is asking any questions in chat or making any interesting comments. I'll be right back here. No, there's a lot of people that have joined, but if any of you that are on the live right now have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in either the YouTube, the Twitter, or the Instagram feed, and we'll be glad to take any questions that you may have.
Heck yeah, man.
Um, so, back to the subject of the Atlanta music scene. Do you have any suggestions for any other up and coming bands to check out, or possibly to reach out to for a bass player interview?
Yeah. We actually have I don't know, I guess you could call it a sister band. I don't know what you'd call it, but First One Dies is pretty much all the members, except there's a different bass player and a different drummer. And that being what little has changed makes a whole lot of difference. And it's very nice music, and they're very talented. Definitely worth checking out. Um, yeah, for sure. They're called Trauma Bond. You look them up on
Trauma
Instagram.
Bond.
Trauma Bond, yeah,
Okay, I will definitely do that.
absolutely.
Um, so my last one of these was with a guy named Buddy Felder, who is the bass player for a band out in Jackson, Mississippi called End of All. And one of the things that we've been doing in all of these is the person that I'm interviewing gets to pose a question that I ask to the next person to be interviewed. So his question was there a particular moment when you knew that you were destined to be a professional musician? And if so, tell us about it.
I'd probably say seventh grade, man. I think I was like, what, maybe 15 or so, 14, 15, something like that. Um,
Hmm.
I just realized that school wasn't for me, man. Which I'm not advocating that school is bad or you should drop out of school. It really just depends on what you're trying to do in life. But it just wasn't working out for me, man. And music was something that I really connected with, and it was the only thing that I had a passion for at the time. It just really just showed me a different side of myself that I never knew was there, which was the passionate side, and how much I really wanted to learn and know. You know, yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, since this is a series, is there a question that you would like to pose to the next person in the hot seat, whoever that ends up being?
Yeah, yeah. Whoever it is, I would just say, what can you do to use your voice and your platform to not only promote yourself, but the local people, local bands around you. Like I said before, plenty of times, it's really important to spread the knowledge of what's going on here because there's a lot of local talent, and our voices are powerful. So I think we should spread that support around to everybody because it takes people being interested. You need fans in order to get somewhere with this. And there's a lot of people that are into good music, and there's a lot of freaking good music in this local community. It needs to be seen.
Right, right. I really like your passion for the scene and the fact that you're obviously trying to promote First One Dies, but you're not restricting it to just your band. You're promoting the entire scene, and that is admirable. So
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
so um, we know that you guys are on Instagram. Do you have any other social media that you would like to hype?
Um, I would just say YouTube. Our YouTube could use a lot of love. Um, it's just First One Dies. We. It's kind of weird. We have a topic, First One Dies, and then we have our First One Dies page, which
Hmm.
which is where you can find our music video for our song Hatred. And upcoming, when we drop our new album, we'll have a new music video for our song Black Flame that will be on there as well. And also the podcast that we are going to be doing starting here in April. All the videos will be uploaded to YouTube as well. So definitely just want to shout out to YouTube real quick.
Very nice. I'm definitely looking forward to your podcast. I think that's definitely going to be a must listen.
Thank you.
Um, so so you guys have the upcoming show at the Masquerade on April 5th, I believe.
Yes.
Um, do you have any other shows that are coming up that you'd like to talk about?
So we have April 5th at the Masquerade. And we also have, let's see, there's a Yonder Ways Metal Festival that's going on in Yatesville, Georgia on September 14th and 15th, I believe. I hope I didn't get that wrong, but that's going to be really cool. There's going to be vendors, there's going to be food, and a whole lot of bands. I think 25 total with both days combined. So that's going to be really
Wow.
exciting.
So, pardon my ignorance, but whereabouts is Yatesville?
Yatesville is like center Georgia. It's going down towards the Macon area, not quite in Macon,
Gotcha,
not quite in
gotcha.
Macon, but a little before, just like center Georgia.
Okay, okay. So, what can you tell us about the new album? I'm not going to ask you to share stuff you can't share, but
You're
tell us
good.
what you can.
So it's going to be called Kingslayer. Uh, it's been in the
Hmm.
works for probably all in all like a year and a half now. Could be longer. But we've been taking our time and really trying to get it right. It's completely self-produced, uh, really by our lead vocalist Brandon Soto. he, like I said earlier, he's a wizard in that dang in the studio that he's got. He's got a little home studio, and it's as professional as you could really need it to be. He really knows what he's doing. So, but it's going to be a lot heavier. Um, it's going to be a lot nastier, and it's really bringing a whole new dimension to our sound. So I'm excited for people to see it. Our single off of it, "Sleepless," just released not too long ago, New Year's actually.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were digging it. So if you're digging "Sleepless," just wait till you hear the rest of the Kingslayer. It's going to be awesome.
I'm excited. I'm excited. That'll it can't come soon enough.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree.
So let me look over at the Instagram tab again and see if there's anybody asking anything.
Of course.
Nope, doesn't look like it. So anyway, I guess we're getting toward the end of this, but Johno, again, thank you so much for taking the time to come on here and share a little bit about yourself and talk about the band. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? We've got an open platform here, so
Right.
have at it.
Really, I'd just like to thank you for having me on here, man. Like I told you before we went live, I really appreciate what you're doing with your platform by not only putting us on here, but putting on all these local bands from all these different states. And I think that's a really cool thing. And I really like what you're trying to do, man. I think there needs to be more people. And if you're listening to this, you've been thinking about using your platform for something similar or really anything at all, just do it, man. Just do it, because no profile and no platform is too small to do something. It has to start somewhere. So um, I think other than
Exactly.
other than that, man, I would just say keep an eye out for our podcast. First One Dies podcast. We're doing our first episode here in early April. It should be out around then as well. So y'all keep an eye out for that on our YouTube, and it's also going to be up on Spotify as well. It's going to be separate from our First One Dies. It's going to be First One Dies podcast, not much different. So keep an eye out for that.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Well, anyway, again, thank you. This has really been a pleasure, and for everybody watching, whether live or later in a replay, thank you for watching, and we'll be hopefully getting another one of these scheduled very soon. So watch this space for details, and I may, depending on what I've got going on, I may try to get down to the masquerade on the 5th and catch you guys. So
That would be awesome. Let us know, man, and we can probably hook you up with a shirt or something if we can meet up with you.
okay. Well, you have a good night, and again, appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you. Have a good night, brother.